much resources did you have in that first jar of honey that you made? Did that first jar cost you $1,000? When you said, I just want to get into bees and have a little bit of honey. I think we should all have little jars out front of our house and have the sign you picked. When people go, oh, I want bees. Getting honey's easy, isn't it? And think about all the stuff. And your time is worth money also. So if you're going in there every month and you're underneath this tolerance, you know your bees are healthy. And also, you cannot control your bees. It's not like we fence them in and go, hey, here's our property line. You guys can't go beyond there. You can go, we can't go beyond that. Because our bees are foraging everywhere, up to 5 miles, usually 2 to 3. All of a sudden, here's another beekeeper in your area that maybe be a bee haver that just wants bees to be bees, or a feral colony that went crazy with mites, and you have a bump up. If you're monitoring, here we are in this August, September, the Varroa is going to outpace our bees. And it might be something we can't even control. But the Varroa load, K-wing, cashmere disease, Israeli paralysis disease, and I can go on and on and on. And I thought I knew about 38 of them until I met this guy in Michigan they spin off the DNA of all these diseases. And it almost looked, if you ever look at it like a radio, or like a CD, take a CD in the sun and it shines, he had a radio spectrograph with this. And I said, well, how many diseases have you guys picked up around the outside? And he goes, about 800. And some of them, they have no idea what's going on. But if we can keep this down here, you're going to have to do something in here. All of a sudden, our Varroa load gets to 15 mites per 300. Again, what can I treat with? What precautions do I need? What PPE, personal protection equipment, do I need to bring this down? So by here, October, November, for the most part, we're done with our bees. You're not in here opening up the brood and doing things. So these winter bees can go through November, December, January, February, and we're right back in having healthy bees. Then the only problem you're going to have is, I got to buy more nukes, I got to make more splits, I got to have more bees. But you guys are having 3 beginner classes now. One in the fall and one in the spring. What, 2 in the spring you said?
2 in the spring.
Who loves selling nukes? At 180?
Yeah.
180 apiece. Number one, you can tell them they're homegrown in this area, they're used to this area, they know the beekeeper because you guys come to a club, and I'm raising nukes and this is what I stand for. They'll more apt to do that and then shy them away from packages and other things that people keep having problems with. The Varroa shaker. I hate to say buy something. I hate recommending stuff like that, but I got probably 7 of them in the back of my envoy. If you're doing it consistently, have a method to your madness, a bucket, a container, that you go out and go, okay, I'm going to do a Varroa shake. I'm going to do about 20% of my bees. Who's got on the average 5 hives? Okay? I'm going to take Varroa, I'm going to take samples from 3 of those frames, 3 colonies, 1 frame each. I'm going to pull the frame up. Who knows how to spot the queen? Is that why you do not do Varroa? You're afraid you're going to kill your queen, right? Take your container, pull your frame up, and look for open brood. That's the fat seeds at the bottom. Not the little tiny ones in this big area, but the fat seeds. And the nurse bees are feeding. Take that frame, put it on top of your colony at an angle like this. Look around for that queen 2 and 3 times. She does not fly real good after an alcohol wash. Take your Varroa check with your alcohol, or you don't even have to put, now there's 2 methods. You can put the alcohol in here if you go, I'm good at spotting the queen. Then go ahead and put the alcohol. If not, leave the alcohol out of it. Take the container on the edge, so this is round, and you put it on here and just lightly scrape down, and when they hit the edge, they'll flip right in the cup. Who knows where that 300 mark is in here? And then when you get to that 300 mark, do you have to have exactly 300 bees in there? The mark is going to give you an average. If it is a small nuke or you're a beekeeper with only 2 colonies, just bring it up to the 100 mark. So boom, I turn around, put it off the side, go to the next colony. two frames of the honey on the outside, pollen on the outside, open up that open brood, take the next one, open it up, scrape it down, flip in, get your 300. Then pour in your alcohol up to the bottom of the line. Sing your ABCs. Who likes doing that? But be consistent with your timing. The only reason I sing it is because it's about the same time every time. There's your bees, then take the bottom of that and hold it up. That's as easy as it gets. And you're actually doing a scientific method to the madness to know what your mite population is in that half a cup or 300 bees. I know some beekeepers, I just went to Fairfield a couple of weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago now. He takes all the dead bees and counts them out and makes sure there's roughly 300. And he charts it all out. But he knows what his varroa load. I said, I walked in the meeting and we were talking about, they wanted me to do disease and mites. I love doing the talk, it makes everybody sad. But I want you to know the truth. There's probably 800 ways to kill our bees. And I said, who has their varroa load and what your varroa load is today? And he goes, 1 minute. He's flipping paper and he goes, I had 4 in this colony, 2 in this colony, 5 in this colony, 2. And I'm like, wow. He goes, I just done it the other day. And he goes, and I'm consistent about it. If you don't understand what we're fighting is an insect on an insect. So cultural, physical, or chemical, who's got this book? Who needs that book? D, pass them out for me. I don't want anybody saying I didn't have that book. Who has taken time and read that book? Give yourself a round of applause. Understanding that book and understanding what you're fighting against in the cultural method compared to the hard chemicals, compared to the light chemicals, there's something in there for everybody of the way you keep bees. In this book, and all the chemicals that we have, is there anything in that book, or all the chemicals that we have currently, that kills 100% of all the varroa? No. If you ever get time in your board, go to all the different sheets, go type in their MSDS sheet, is the chemical breakdown of what all these chemicals are. Like Coumaphos and this and that. What? Look at my briefcase. Everything is in.
I got some of those in the barns.
Okay.
Club does.
I might have a few. If you look at any of them, they're all at 90, 80, 75, 90. But it also depends, did you put it on at the right time, the right temperature, you put it in the right area to do the maximum efficacy or kill rate. Who honestly, after the treatment period of whatever you used, either Hot Guard, Coumaphos, Fight Away Quick Strips, who does a follow-up alcohol wash after that time? 1, 2. Please do that. 3. Because what's it telling you at the end? Did the chemical do the job for the right thing and did it kill it? Because some of the mites are becoming, hey, a little bit resistant to this chemical. I hear from the chemical guy or the commercial guys in my area, I hear from the sideliners. Well, I used Mite Away Quick Strips last time, or now we got Formic Pro. I used it and it didn't even put a dent in my bees or the varroa load against my bees. Well, did you do a follow-up? Yeah, and the numbers went up. Okay, then think about something else. I had a girl one time, it's 55-year beekeeper, said, Jamie, my varroa counts keep going up. If you come to my meeting, we have an eraser board. When you come in, I ask you honestly, if you know your varroa count, put it on the board. And it's not to insult anybody or cause injury or mental distress, but it shows everybody what the mite counts are doing. And I said, how'd you go from like 3 and 4 to 7 to 14, 23, and now you're at 60? Well, I keep putting the same strips in. What'd you say? Well, I bought a big bucket of Mite Away Quick Strips, and I keep using Mite Away Quick Strips. Well, she had a little dent in the beginning, but now she's just raising what? Mite Away Quick Strip resistant mites. And then she ended up going to Formic. So understand this. Sit with your mentors in this club and go, hey, why does it say this? Or where do I put those? Well, I'm going to use Hot Guard. Where do I put those in that box? The nice thing is that website also has a boatload of videos. So you can watch the videos and go, hey, where did you put in those formic strips? Well, I put them in the top of the honey supers. No, it's a contact in the brood area, on both sides of the brood area. So understanding what you're fighting with. Have lots of honeybees, lots of honey storage, a good fall flow, no pest or disease, a consistent cold winter. I personally agree and don't agree with the cold winters. If it was cold winters, the bees would have never lived from thousands of years ago. Now, the consistent with a ball of bees maintaining a temperature against the cold, or this yin-yang sometimes we get in the spring, all of a sudden it's winter this day, and the next day you're taking your jacket off. That yin-yang does because the clusters constantly ebb and flowing or moving around, so that can change. And then resulting in healthy bees in the spring. So here's at Peggy's house in the springtime. Maintaining a low population all year long, all season, and improving your migratory strategies. Following the label law, please do not use oxalic vapor without what? Respirator. I went down to Jamie Ellis. It's called the spring college classes. When you take the beginner class, remember like a deer in the headlights? And you went, wow, I got to learn 8 years of beekeeping in one season. This is like college level with all the professors from overseas, and they're all talking, real French and real this, and here's Jamie, and even I think I'm pretty smart, but I'm this. When I came back to the hotel room, my wife goes, you want to go to dinner? I just want to crawl in your lap and I want to die. This. But these guys are talking the chemical breakdown and the processes of doing everything. When you turn on do that, a guy in Florida was doing oxalic vapor when it first came out. They had an x-ray of his chest and he looked like a Christmas tree. The oxalic vapor, and it stays in your lungs. He ended up perishing. So there is harm to this, but please stay safe. Refer to the Honeybee Health Coalition. That is book 7.2 version. They just came out with 8.4 or 8.2. Understanding the time, the websites, USDA, ODA, OSB, or OSU, other universities. Don't follow beekeepers on YouTube that are doing stupid stuff. Wintergreen and take an insecticide and shove it in there and do this, this, and that. It might work, but show me the science behind it, because it might work for her. Just got to tease you a minute. It might work for her for one season, all of a sudden she goes, oh, buy wintergreen and this. Who's ever heard of the Fat Bee Man? Oh, come on, you've got to hear of the Fat Bee Man. When he came out, I turned around and got on his website. They used to have a chat back and forth, and I said, well, what's your Varroa account? Oh, he said he bypassed me all the time. Well, he's doing it through brood breaks all the time. So he, quote, never treats, but he's constantly breaking his bees apart. And then I met a friend who personally knows him, and I said, he goes, well, I'm going to have some real smart people on here, and we're going to do a panel. So I kind of put him to it, and then the next 2 weeks after that, my IP address was blocked, and I can't get a hold of him. Bee Culture, ABJ Magazine. Who has those? Good articles. Some of them are over this, but understanding it. Ask questions. Your big round table you guys are going to have with the open mic, perfect time to bring in an article and go, hey, I read this, this, and this. Why are they doing this and that? Improving your beekeeping management techniques. There are hundreds of ways, as there's thousands of beekeepers. There was 2,300 brand new complimentary kits that we gave out this season from OSBA. So throughout Ohio altogether, 2,300 people joined beekeeping for a first year. How long are they going to stick around? Till they lose bees 3-4 years in a row? They start to understand that beekeeping is not a cheap hobby. They turn around and they start killing everything in their area, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I can't have a disease. Or they start irritating neighbors, or they start irritating other things. They get their wife stung up. I'll put myself in that same category.